We're live. We're doing it.
Woo!
It's happening. I almost screamed alert, but I was like, I don't want everyone to feel the feelings that we felt that much, right?
Yeah, I was very loud
Yeah.
the entire time. So yeah, it's best.
I was too, and Ree didn't care. But anyway, here we are. I'm on my channel. It's weird. we already had hiccups because I don't know how to do anything. Maddie always handles that, so you're great, Maddie. We are here to talk about The Circle Season 4. So if you have not watched The Circle Season 4, there's 4 episodes right now, you may want to leave if you plan to watch it. If you don't plan to watch it, this could be fun for you. I have notes. I'm planning to recommend every cast member a comic book for various reasons. Some you may not expect, which I'm really looking forward to.
And I forgot that was a thing, but I did come in clutch right at the end and make a list.
Yes. There you go. Maddie's so good. Jessica has a list. I know she does. Mary's here. Thank you, Mary, for being here. She hasn't watched The Circle, but she's here for the company. Thank you so much, Mary. I already spoiled everything for Mary. I was like, hey, this happened, because I had to tell her. I can't get her to watch The Circle. Maybe after this she will.
Hayden finally did, so.
Okay. I know, that's so exciting. James is here. Thank you, James. Wow, 2 videos in 1 year. Wow. What next? Are we getting into Ice Age? I deserve that. Have I watched The Circle? Nope, but I'm just going to try to post some funny comment. I mean, thanks, James. Thanks for being here. You should watch it. Here's the thing. So The Circle, for anyone who doesn't know, I still don't know how to pitch the show to people properly. Because it was like, Maddie, you kind of got me into it. Another friend of mine was telling me to watch it, and I was like, what is it about? And you were like, well, it's like there's social media, but like you're all stuck in like they're secluded and they can only talk via, messages. Everyone's behind a profile. No one knows who anyone is. It's fascinating. I didn't expect to fall into it, but I've fallen hard.
It's addicting. Honestly, like the first season, yeah, because everybody's in their own room by themselves. They can only like message each other, but they have to say it out loud to the screen, like Circle message so and so. I am so happy to be here. Hashtag girl gang. Hashtag can't handle it. Fire emoji. Fire emoji.
I love how they have hashtags that don't. It's like, why?
It's just there.
Right.
I don't know.
The point of hashtags is really to keep a group of things together, but no, they're just like hashtag. Here we are. Hashtag 3 Musketeers.
And like the first season was like so weirdly wholesome that we were like, well, I guess we're stuck with this. And then like once it happened, it didn't matter what the rest of the seasons did. I'd be there always.
Absolutely.
But this season so far, which we'll get to, I am like living for. I'm having a great time.
Every season. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say you spoke to something that I think is different about The Circle than other shows, is that every season has been really different. Like I am a fan of Big Brother, so I would say if you like Big Brother, I would pitch this as Big Brother, but without being in the same room as each other. So it's very similar sort of gameplay structure.
Right.
But it's Big Brother's like known for like strategy and deceit. Season 1 of The Circle was very wholesome. It had almost like a moral message, which is
100%. Since day one.
But then, like, I would say, I don't remember if it was 2 or 3. It's hard to remember which is which. Really elevated the strategic level, and I also liked that. So it's like the bones of the thing is the same, but I do think, depending on the cast, it takes a life of its own. And I will say, I love whoever is the casting director of this show picks people that are interesting and rarely like annoying or frustrating for me personally. Like I think most of these people I would be fine like being around, and I cannot say that about most reality television. So I love the casting director, whoever they are.
It's so true. And even like this season so far, like we're going to go through the characters, but there's like one. Maddie and I were the same.
I hate her.
Hate is extreme. I know who you're talking about.
Hate is
a big word choice.
Whitney and I both were sitting there like, this bitch.
There's a lot going on, but for the most part, like these people are like, oh, everyone's kind of delightful, right? And I mean, I think it was the last season. Actually, the last 2.
There was one guy I really didn't like last season.
That guy and his mom.
Oh,
stop. Stop it right now. But it
Oh
was
yeah,
so-
because it was the guy and his mom, and the season after was his brother, and I hate
That's right.
him.
That's right. Yeah, the whole family. It's like, get out of there. Yikes.
Yeah.
But usually, yeah, usually I like a lot of people, which is very rare with any reality show.
Well, let's jump in.
We have to. I do have to address this, Mary. Will you be doing shows on Is It Cake? Listen, have y'all watched Is It Cake?
No.
No.
I've had I don't
Oh.
understand. Why
Hold
is there
on.
I see videos about okay, like well, I've seen TikTok, is this cake? Is it is or it isn't.
Yeah.
Fine. How is there a whole show and why would I care if there's a whole I don't understand.
Hold on, let me tell you why you'll care. Okay.
Okay.
Because I fell in and I finished it now. There's one season.
Okay, let me guess. A woman
worth your time.
falls in love with a man. She's so happy. She thinks he's the one. Actually, he's cake. Is that what it is?
You know what?
I
What if
would
it
watch
was?
that.
What if it was?
I kind of need that to happen now. But no, it is a baking competition. So it's all
Okay.
these great bakers who are known for making crazy cakes that look like other things.
Oh,
And
okay.
then there's a panel of judges. There's 3, like usually it's comedians or someone. Like the first episode, Fortune Feimster's on it, who I adore.
Ugh,
Yeah.
love
Jessica's
her.
face. Okay.
Anything for Fortune.
Yeah. Fortune's the best. Yeah. But then there's like 6 things up on like podiums, and they have 20 seconds, the judges do toward the end, to guess which one is cake. So they're all similar items or they look the same,
Yeah.
but which one's actually cake? And if they can guess, then that person doesn't move on. But if they don't guess it, then they move
Okay.
on to potentially win the whole. It's a whole competition.
So I'm
It-
gonna watch all this tomorrow. Okay.
You are, because there's a really great contestants too. Like you're gonna fall in love with like at least 2 of them that I probably did. So
All
I
right.
wish
it's
the
very fun.
I wish the prize money was like a Scrooge McDuck pile, and then you don't know if that's cake or not. And it's just like maybe you win cake, maybe you
Well,
win money.
Maybe they're chocolate
literally,
coins.
well,
Oh,
the end of the round. So like whoever wins cake of the day or whatever. Which if there's a tie, so let's say there's always 3 bakers, and if let's say all of them fool the judges, so there's 3, and they're like, well, what happens? Well, then the judges go and taste each cake. So it's also a matter of taste. They look
Yeah.
at the details of the cake up close, and they decide, okay, who has the most effort here, who like all of that together, they decide the winner of the day.
Yeah.
The winner goes to a round of 2 items, and it's always money of some sort. So there's been like piggy banks with money in it, bags with money in it, like things with money in it, but one of them's cake and one isn't. And it's always like so perfect that you're like, how do they pick? And then
Okay.
if they pick the right one, they win the money, but if they don't win the money. So, and they're
Yeah.
not always great at it.
All right. I have nothing to do tomorrow.
We'll check it out.
It's fun. It's so stupid, but it's fun. Speaking of stupid fun. All right, let's go down the character list, shall we?
Yes.
I think we have to start with Frank.
The best. Is he not everything? He is so
Frank is
delightful
everything. Yes.
and lovely and perfect. The minute that man walked in, I was like, that's
Yeah.
if he doesn't make it to the end,
I
then
think
no one deserves anything.
because he's playing a good game too, right? Like
Yeah.
he's interesting, he's popular, he's over the top, he's very much himself, and he's like, I'm playing myself because I'm the best, and I'm like, you are, Frank. So he's wonderful already. I agree. I immediately fell in love with him.
I really like him. I also think like I don't know if he's even the best at strategy, but what he is great at is he has excellent intuition. Like I don't even know that he's a strategic mind, but he reads people really well. And I think because he's likable and reads people, he's not even just coasting. Like he's relying on his intuition. And I think, yeah, I would love for him to go all the way for sure.
Yeah. Plus he's so fun and it's noticeable when he's like chatting. And I think they've proved it, especially this season, if you're not immediately noticeable when you're like chatting, because we can't see how fun you are. I mean, we can, the audience, but they can't.
Right.
So if you're not bringing it, they're not going to know.
So true.
And he's a social worker, so he already has my heart.
There you go. Yeah, he's so great. I did write down some quotes for some people.
Yes.
And my Frank quote is, "Ooh, I need some chapstick. Oh my God." So there's a lot of chapstick with him, which I loved. I don't even remember what he was referencing, but I had to write that down. So that's my Frank quote. Let's see. Then next I have is Yuling.
Who I love. She's got to work harder, but I love her.
She does need to work harder. I love her personality though. She's so weird. She's weird too, which I love. And the fashion icon, right? Like what?
Oh, for sure. I could never.
I'd never, ever.
And I loved her little Jayo necklace, and the way she explained it to everybody was really cute.
Yeah.
Because like Jayo was like, you can do it, good luck. And she explained it's like literally it's add gas. It's supposed to be like, hey, let's light the fire, right? And she's like, I say it because I want to gas myself up. And I was like,
I think the fact that her cake did not win actually offends me on a really deep level. Also, I was initially offended when she said all millennials were burnt out and jaded when she was describing herself as being on the cusp. Then I took a beat and I was like, yes, that is
very
accurate. I'm very tired.
I feel exactly the same.
I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
The cake competition was a tragedy. It must be rigged. I'm sorry, Krissa. I thought your cake was ugly as hell. I don't understand people bought it. I thought your little family on there looked like little aliens. I didn't get it.
Maybe her family is aliens. We don't know.
Yeah, Maddie, we don't know.
Maybe.
It expressed her personality. I think we'll get to her, but I think that was why it won, is like it wasn't the biggest of train wrecks and expressed her personality. Whereas, and they pointed this out, Yuling didn't get a chance. That's the thing, actually, in each of these games, one thing that was different from last time is in previous seasons, the game ends and you can chat about it for a little bit, which will give you time to explain or whatever. And they actually didn't really do that this time. They did private chat each other about it. So like Yuling explained her cake, which I think if she got a chance to explain it, actually it may have won, but they kind of changed that game mechanism up. And so that she didn't get a chance. And that really is like that's going to run her into some trouble, as we see, because she doesn't get to express her full personality in the big group.
That's so true, because like we see her being weird and quirky, and the things she says but doesn't like message are funny and interesting.
So funny.
And like my quote for Yuling, of course, is turtlenecks are a personal weakness of mine, and suddenly I'm sweating. Because how is that?
She's so goofy. Oh man. Well, she's the one who made the quote about like she need to go change her underpants. Like I love how just completely unhinged she is. And she wasn't at the beginning. I think it wasn't until like somebody brought up to her that was like, you need to try more, that later on she was just like, all right, fuck it. And she's full personality. Love her.
I'm also obsessed with the fact that she's almost always cooking at all times. If you notice, like there are very few. There's like one scene when she's in the gym, but otherwise she's constantly cooking up something. And I'm like, I want to be friends with you so badly. I really like her.
I think I want her and Frank to like take us shopping, because I obviously have no personal style really, and I think that they could fix that. And I really want them to do that for me.
That would be a blast.
Yeah.
And you know what? That would be like a great alliance that we haven't even seen them really interact, I don't think.
If they could see each other in person, they would.
Yeah.
I think Yuling, that first picture she chose wasn't the best. I think the corn on the cob one's perfect, but the fact that that's not her profile picture, she looks really cool, but she doesn't look as fun as she does like in video.
The best personality moment she got to have was when they named their memoirs, which was, I really had fun with that for a lot of
reasons. Talk about the memoirs.
It was like all that and dim sum, and I was like, I love you. And I do, and that was a hit. Like she was a hit there.
Yeah, she killed it.
I guess we can come back to the memoir thing.
I'm just gonna go down everybody, but we'll get to the memoir. So then there's Carroll, of course, played by John. So Carroll, she's in her 60s. That's John's mother. So John's coming in playing as Carroll.
Yeah.
How do we feel about John?
John grew on me a little. I don't hate him. You know, originally I was like, well, when he showed up originally, I was like, I don't know about this guy. But he's growing on me. Because I was not convinced that he would be able to do this. Because to be your mom is one thing. And also he pushed the mama bear thing too hard.
Okay.
And I was like, everyone's mom's different. There are some moms that would be like, oh, I'm the older one here, I'm the mama bear. But I think about my mom, and she wouldn't be caught dead saying that shit.
Yeah. It feels really forced to me. I mean, because it's happened so much. He does it every conversation. He's like, hashtag mama bear and her cub, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
I would suspect him immediately.
There's some people already shaky on him, right? So,
although I will say the cake thing was not fair, because like, oh, his cake doesn't look that good. Whitney and I were arguing about this last night. And I was like, I love to bake. I love baking. I can't decorate for shit. Just because she bakes all the time does not mean she can decorate. That's not a universal trait.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
It's true.
Hot take.
Yes.
It's not that hot. It's like medium room temperature take. John is actually, to me, probably the strongest player in strategy and like overall approach to the game. He's not like my favorite human being on the show, although I really like him. I mean, I think there's very few of these cast people that I'm not like wouldn't hang out with. I would hang out with him. I think he's also, if you contrast him to who I'm sure is your least favorite when we get to them, another catfish.
Yeah.
He really did well. Like, I was also skeptical, but I think he did good. And just to defend him on the Mama Bear thing, 2 seconds. At the beginning, early in the episode, it's not really John Carroll, as I've been calling them. It's not really John Carroll that pushed the Mama Bear thing. It was like other people at first, and then they leaned into it.
That's
and
fair.
I think they keep leaning into it because continuing to play on that same joke that works with the young people probably is actually something a lot of moms would do, even if they didn't dub themselves that. So I'm like more warm, I think, on John Carroll, but you're absolutely right. The last episode and a half, really, they've slipped up a couple times. We'll get into the biggest thing I think they slipped up on, but that's a little bit of a disappointment. But room temperature take. I think John Carroll's the strongest overall player as far as like strategy and performance and all that.
I think you make really good points, and especially about the Mama Bear thing. Because you're right, people would lean into that if it was something that was. I stand corrected, Jessica. You know what you're talking about.
Room temperature take. Yeah.
Okay, Brew. Brew is apparently a radio personality and big on TikTok,
which is interesting.
Yeah, I was like, Maddie, did you know? Because you know all the TikTokers.
No, he's not on my side of TikTok, so I've never heard of this guy.
My side.
Yeah, well, because the For You page is designed for you, so I don't see him.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of him, and of course, what John has, I think he's fine. I don't really go one way or the other on him. He's kind of bland. I mean, like, there's little things he does I think are funny. I thought I would dislike him more when he first showed up because I was like, this looks like another guy we've seen before. But he did some dorky things that I really enjoyed. Like the Bruito thing was really funny.
I was about to bring it up. I loved
the brew puns. I know it's dumb, but also I love it.
I loved Michelle's voiceover to that because she's like, "Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it," and then he said it, and she's like, "Okay, it was adorable." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why was it kind of adorable?"
Because he reminded me of Elliot. Just the thing the way he walked through the house and like checked stuff. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's."
Brew and Elliot would be friends.
I think they would be. Yeah.
He looks like Midwestern Andy Samberg. I want you to look at a picture of him, especially in the first episode he appeared. And he's even made a line like a face everyone loves. And I was like, yeah, because it's Andy Samberg's face. They look so similar, except for like with a Midwestern twist. But yeah, he's very bland to me. And
I think he's a radio person.
That's my thing. I'm like, you apparently have like millions of TikTok followers. You're a radio personality. Like, you're not acting like it. It's interesting. Yeah, it's like, this is weird.
I think at one point, whoever did, was it your best friend who knew? No, it was John Carroll who knew that Brew was a TikTok radio person.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, if I remember right, John Carroll said that maybe Brew does dares or challenges. And so that is actually like what got them famous. So I think that might be a part of it. It's not their charming personality. It's just a bit or whatever. But it's very bland and very bland playing style. Like, I don't.
Yeah, there's nothing really interesting about it.
He just looks like every other guy. Like it.
Yeah.
So I don't remember him. He's not even like really there's some guys before that have been very goofy looking. Until you remember them. Like the guy who pretended to be a girl and couldn't do makeup. But this guy's just very normal.
Yeah. All right, we're to Parker. Paul Parker.
Okay, listen. This girl could not play the game to save her life.
Well, let's talk about Parker.
Sorry, we should explain first.
Is playing as Paul, who's in his 50s, and that's her dad.
He's a real estate agent and looks like it.
Apparently, although she was like, what was that line about how she didn't even understand what he did? She doesn't know what real estate is or something, probably.
Correct. And
I'm
then
sure
she picked his fake profession as marriage therapist, which I'm gonna say was actually bad for multiple reasons.
Yes.
One, this girl could never
Yeah.
pretend to be a therapist. We'll get into it, I'm sure. But also, like,
She doesn't know
being
words.
a therapist is in these sort of social games, even one like this where it's through a computer, is there are certain professions where it's like, oh, like a cop or who could be undercover, which has happened on Big Brother before, or like a therapist, or like certain positions are like people are more skeptical because they think you're capable of manipulating other people, which Parker Paul definitely wasn't.
No.
But it's like a weird choice to be like the non-threatening thing is a marriage therapist. I don't think that that's super accurate. I actually think realtor would have been like fine.
Well, and he doesn't look like a marriage therapist. I'm sorry. If the only way he would be a marriage therapist and look like this and dress like this is if he was like from a big Christian church. That is the only way. Okay?
Mega church therapist.
Yes. And I mean that. I was like, you look at this man, you're like, no. No. And then she could not, she can't play him at all. This man, this fancy dude coming in saying young man, no way. I'm sorry. I see that man. I know his ego. There's no way he wouldn't go in there and try to be like, all right, my youth again. I'm one of the cool guys, okay? I'm neat. And then she did the whole like, I've never fake sick bullshit.
Yeah, she really messed up a lot. She could not.
She is quite possibly the worst. And I've seen some rough players on Big Brother for over 20 years of that show. The worst social game reality TV show person I have ever. But I will say, I don't like hate. Oh, I certainly don't hate her, like capital H hate her. But I also, she's so harmless. Like when are we allowed? Well, it's spoilers. When she did get the boot, and she was meeting John Carroll, which by the way was hilarious on multiple levels because they're like the two catfishers playing their parents falling in love. It's like a weird Parent Trap, 101 Dalmatians situation. Very strange. She was pretty harmless and she was never mean to people. Do you know what I mean?
She's not mean. She's just dumb.
She's dumb. She's just not. Brains are not where her abilities lie, for sure.
Yeah. And I love that everyone else is very aware of where the other abilities were.
I mean, I had to avert my eyes at one point.
I looked straight at her boobs for 4 episodes.
I mean, they were right there. Yeah.
How could you not? The microphone was eating them.
I mean, can we just be real? That's why she got cast, right? Because she was so bad at this.
Well, she's also funny. Like it wasn't her.
Well, she was funny.
You know who complimented her boobs, and I think she should put that on her resume. Spice Girls.
Oh my gosh, yes.
There were. I know that's burying the lead about the next contestant, but like there were multiple moments where people were like, "Oh, if I left because of the Spice Girls," and tonight when we get to recommend a book to the Spice Girls, I get it. I get a taste of what they feel, even though they will never see this.
Incredible. Okay, we can talk about the memoir thing now, right? Because we're talking about her.
Oh, his name is Josh. He's 25 from West Hollywood, but I'm not sure his last name. But he goes by Brew, B-R-U.
I think his last name's Brew Baker.
Oh, okay, Josh.
And then he goes by Brew, yeah.
And he looks like Midwestern Andy Samberg. So, Mary, if you're looking through pictures and you see Andy Samberg, you found him.
All right. Who else? Let's see. There's Alyssa, who's an assistant to a sex coach.
She's very cute.
Love her.
Yeah.
I got no issue with her.
I think she did have to stop wearing makeup and then wear her hair differently because at the beginning I would get the two girls confused because they looked just close enough. But then she stopped wearing makeup and I was like, okay, we're fine.
Well, and when they talked, the intelligence level. No disrespect to Parker Paul, who has other talents and abilities and skills. And assets. That's probably the better word.
Assets, yeah.
Yeah, I do think, though, towards the last episode or so, she wasn't playing as hard, Alyssa, and I think that will catch up to her. And I was very shocked when they ranked people at the very beginning. She fell, like, 4th, which I was pretty surprised with. I thought she would be higher up than, like, middle of the pack.
Yeah, she's playing safe, which is probably good at the beginning, but not too safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, we have for the beginning, Krissa, who is a lesbian globetrotter, apparently.
I did not know there were female Harlem Globetrotters, and I apologize.
And she's like the 7th.
Yeah, like
Ellie was like, at what point do you have enough women that join the Globetrotters? You stop numbering it.
Maybe they're not. Yeah, I wonder what number they're on. Like, is it 8?
I don't know.
Like, that's not great, right?
No, she was interesting. She's funny.
Jessica's opinions.
She's not a good player. She has terrible intuition. Like
That's
you
true.
were like, I could played a drinking game and been wasted at the end of 4 episodes by the amount of times she was like, I feel this, or in my gut this, and it was like
totally
really far
right.
off. Her saving grace, and I have no idea, is that people who are popular took a liking to her. Like, certainly Frank, and then I think also John Carroll at the beginning was high on her, and both of them were ranked high. So I think that helped Carissa. And I don't think, again, like, she's fine as a human, but I just think she's a bad player with bad instincts, and I don't know how much longer she'll be sort of dead weight to carry along. But
well, Steve, if she stays in good with Frank, I think she'll be fine.
Yeah, that's a strong alliance with anyone with Frank, I think. I have 2 quotes for her, though. She's the one that has 2 quotes. The first one is, heck yeah, I've popped another person's pimple. It's what I do. It's what I do? Like, she was very into that. And then, of course, the now classic, guys, no judgment, but what is a memoir?
Yes.
I don't understand people went this long. I don't mean to be that person. I'm like, how?
Well, spoiler alert, that quote heavily influenced my book suggestion for her.
Oh, that's smart.
So
that's
fantastic.
Smart. Just gonna make it go for all.
I didn't even think about that, but that's perfect. Well, I have the first rankings if we want to talk about those.
Yeah.
So Paul was at the bottom, and we've already spoiled it. Paul was the first one to go.
Thank God. That's all I wanted. I wanted her gone. Yeah. I couldn't.
It's for the best.
And she cried about it. I was like, duh.
I think she's getting a date out of it. I also want to talk about how Miami is, in fact, not very close to New Jersey. He was like,
how far is it?
Pretty dang far.
That was a lot. Yeah. Like, so
who is Rod Stewart? I don't listen to like old people music.
That was also
that was, she said the wildest things. Like, so the Paul Parker moment. So, okay, she got booted. She decided to go see John Carroll. And when they came together and had this conversation, I gotta say, I was like, they're kind of just delightful together, right? I mean, it was very sweet, which was strange. She wasn't mad at all. You know, he kept apologizing. He's like, I'm so sorry I booted you, blah, blah.
He's cute. She walked in and he's cute.
She was like, yeah, you're good looking. But I mean, she was really sweet. She's like, don't be sorry. I'm rooting for you, blah, blah. I mean, she could think he's attractive and still be mad.
She betrayed him immediately. Right?
But I don't think, here's the thing, Maddie, in her defense, I'm not sure she realized that was a betrayal. I think this was one of John Carroll's slip-ups, is he should have read, yes, she's nice, she has good assets, but she is not the best game player, obviously, and he should have gone out of his way to say, like, if it's cool, I would rather you not give any signal, you know, that there are other catfishes in the game and that you know that. And also his, of course, second biggest mistake later on was also that he then revealed she visited him after.
Why did people do that?
So just wanting to kind of, I guess, say he really should have told her not to say that, because I genuinely don't think she thought about it enough to realize it was a betrayal.
That is a really good point.
Yeah.
So right above her was Yuling, which she needs to, but she does need to like put herself out there more. I think she's getting better at it, like toward the last few episodes. Then it was Brew, which makes sense to me. Number 4, Alyssa. 3 is Carissa, and I guess it's immediate popularity. Yeah, you're right. Like, what was she doing that really? I don't know. You make good points. What was she doing to make everybody like her?
Just being friends, and maybe not a threat. I think if you're really playing this game well, especially in the first round of voting, you want to get your biggest threats out before they make alliances. Like the people who you think could go far. Frankly, though I love Frank, should I have been playing this game, he would have been dead last on my list because I could never beat him. And especially before alliances are made, where there's consequences to that, you want to get the really strong people out. So Parker Paul, low-key, would have kept him way longer if I thought he was a catfish. he was just dead weight.
That's just
like
not what the circle people do. They're like, this
No,
is my friend.
not on this season. Not on this.
Not
Yeah.
this season.
But you're right. Yeah, they don't vote right.
Not till the end.
Not for the I mean, maybe that'll change after some episodes. It seems like some people do wake up eventually, like, oh, I should play a game, and it's like, like, you're not here to make friends necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, the influencers were Carroll and Frank, and of course they decided Paul Parker. And at that point in time, right at the end of the first episode, okay, so Maddie said she'd heard about this, so she knew that Mel B
I only
and
saw
Emma,
it on like the front. They kind of revealed on the front page, not completely. And so I was like, are they going to be hosts? Is my thought. It didn't keep me from being excited the minute it happened.
I had no idea. So that in that first episode, Michelle's like, we got our VIP people coming, and I'm like, who? And they're showing the back, and then we're like, who? And then they turn around, and I lose my mind. So I had no idea we would be talking about another Spice Girls thing today. It's the best season ever. It is the best season ever.
Yeah.
And
they are so good at it.
Delightful together.
I mean, they've made some, but it's fine. I don't care. I could watch them all day.
They just bicker, and I laugh, and that's all I want. I just want to hear bicker so much. So what happened was Frank was given, because he was number one, he was given two choices of a Jared or a Trey, both two attractive guys in their 20s. And he's like, who do I pick? They're both attractive, basically. One was a children's author, who's Jared. He picked Jared to come into the circle, and that is the Spice Girls, who apparently are very big fans. So Scaring Baby. And they were like, we're all about this. Also Cookie, the dog, who is pink, and it's weird. But Cookie's adorable, so I guess it's fine. She did make a point to say it's vegan dye. So I'm like, okay. But why? But anyway,
they were the best. And honestly, if they don't do a circle podcast after this, I want them to go back. I would listen to old seasons of them talk.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Get old, but they were so entertaining and good spirited about the whole thing. And I got teased from Netflix as well. Netflix put it on the page, and I was like, this was a choice you made. I don't know why. But it was still equally as exciting. Yeah, 100%. I agree.
And I love that they're not playing to win. It's just, if they don't get found out, more money goes into the pool. Mm-hmm. I think that's wonderful. They're just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
Never give up on the good times. Gotta believe in the love you found. It was great. All the Spice Girls quotes and hashtags are also beautiful.
Yes.
90s party was beautiful.
Yeah, so there was a 90s party. They ended up doing the Spice Girls trivia. And yeah, their secret mission is to go undetected. So, and that eventually, I don't know what episode it was, but they were like, it was revealed to everyone that, hey, they did a video together, like, hey, we're in the apartment building with you. We are playing as one of these players, and you have to figure it out or you don't. So what they don't know is if they figure it out, they don't get money, right?
Yeah.
Less money goes to the end winner. But I love it. I love it's so interesting who thinks they're who, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's a girl. So
it was Alyssa's profile. Oh, sorry. Go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're jumping around. It's fine. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, they come in and say that at the end of the 90s party. So, yeah, right before that, the two, if we want to talk about the consequences, the two, there are two other characters, which I'm sure you have. So,
yep.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of their names because I'm like, where was
I've got it in front of me. We've got Alex, who is playing as his friend Nathan.
Is not that friend?
I don't
know. Not friend. It's a guy, Nathan. Yeah. It's just some guy. And he's supposed to be a big board game geek or whatever. He pretended to be a frat guy. I think he's obnoxious, personally.
He made his dumb mistake playing that guy, too, because honestly, Alex would have fit in better with this group than this kid did. I think he kind of got lucky in a way, because this kid can play ignorant of the Spice Girls thing, because how would this 20-year-old know anything about the Spice Girls? So he can almost ask ignorant questions and not come across weird about it. So, but that was pure luck. Like, he had no idea that was going to happen, but I think it was foolish. I think his actual personality would have played out better, but I don't, that's just my opinion.
I always feel like when you get guys like that, you're like, oh, I'm nerdy, but to play a hot guy. I feel like they think they understand what those people are like, but they don't really. And so they play it off as a stereotype in their head. It always annoys me. Like, for me, it's always like I'm less than, but I'm pretentious about it because I'm always smarter. I'm like, that's not how this works. You're like inferiority. That's always my impression. So those people are always like, I don't know about you.
I do want his strategic AF sweatshirt. I am obsessed.
That's good. That's very good. I agree. So something I totally skipped over, which is why I didn't have Alex and Rebecca's name right there, or Rachel. Who's Rebecca?
Rachel.
Who's Rebecca? It's my favorite quote of the whole show, which is when Parker's video, Paul Parker, yeah. Paul Parker's video, and everybody realized who Paul was. Not that it was that big of a surprise. So she says, I realized my big ass personality couldn't fit inside a 56-year-old man. And then Mel B says, more like your big ass tatas. And then she goes on to say, are you looking at her face or her tatas? Be honest. So that's the best. That's just the best.
She's right.
Yeah.
Love her.
Good times. So yeah, Rachel. Rachel is a paranormal researcher.
So cute.
From Texas, which that just adds to the it's a lot going on, and I would like for her to be my best friend personally.
Same.
So
she's
cool.
The minute she walked, I was like, she's so quirky and cute. She would be our friend for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love her. The first thing Reed said was, "That's you." So she kept doing like these weird things, and he's like, "That's you. You do that." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll take it," because I love her. So
yeah,
and
Rachel's
she
great.
really. I feel so bad because she was like, oh, I'm a big Spice Girls fan. Like, she said all that and did not know. And I think it's coming back to bite her in the butt. I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world, but unlike Alex, who kind of lucked out in his choices, she, I think, and of course, Alyssa, which I know Maddie's going to talk about with her profile, just said something haphazardly, which was true and would have had no way to know this will come back to bite me. So she's going to have to work hard with her like alliance building and like one-on-one relationships, because she got dealt herself a bad hand on accident, I guess is really what happened.
Absolutely.
And it sucks for her because she didn't get the question right either, which then just made it look suspicious. And that was a hard question. I didn't know either.
I didn't know the answer.
I had their CDs. I didn't watch the music videos.
Viva Forever, guys. Come on.
I know all the songs, obviously, but I didn't know there was I didn't know about the
it is a weirdly obscure video that who remembers that video? Yeah. I will say I also wrote down, so there was a private chat between Alyssa and Jared, and this was like I think after the whole Spice Girl thing was revealed and everyone's trying to figure each other out. And Alyssa goes, what's the number one place you want to travel next, to Jared? And Mel B goes, Uranus. And then laughs for like 7 years. And I was like, what am I watching? It's the best season. That's all. I had to write it down.
And I love that they take so long to answer anything, and people catch up on that too. They're like, God, if I could answer that.
People are like, what is Jared? Because like he's taking 9 years to respond. They did that a lot, which was not good for them.
They also say, not like a big like where's the toilet or where's the loo or whatever, but they do say things in a way Americans would not. Like they'll be like, have you got any blah 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 instead of do you have any? But I think people are not paying close enough attention, and there just hasn't been as much time since the reveal that they were there that they've slipped up. But those are the things I would be like,
yeah, exactly.
Like at one point they were like, oh, just messing, and I'm like, we don't say that. Like we just don't say it like that. Yeah. So there are little things like that.
Yeah.
I did enjoy their story of peeing in a pod outside of Elton John's room. So
yeah,
you gotta throw that in.
And I couldn't remember who kissed.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that one too. Jerry.
Charles.
Jerry. Yeah.
There were so many good, and I just. I want to watch Spice World so bad after.
God, we have to. And their King Dare game they talked about where they would get like naked in front of the elevator.
Yeah,
love that.
Yeah, that's where the Elton John pot story comes in.
So good.
It's crazy. James is back with his jokes. Waiter, you told me the show doesn't have an X. How do they play tic-tac-toe?
They
James,
can't.
You gotta watch it, James. For real. Spice Girls. I finally know someone you're talking about. I did. Kristen blew up my phone when the Spice Girls entered. I had to tell Mary.
So exciting.
Yep. It's still exciting. So
Focus.
let's see.
There we go.
Oh, Rachel, when she went to Yuling's profile, she goes, she's reading her profile and she's like 4'6", and then she does the little like height thing. She's trying to figure out how tall that is. She goes, "That's cute as hell," and I'm like,
I love her.
love this, love this. I need them to have like their real personalities.
I bet they'll hang out.
Yeah,
and I bet they'll hang out with that lesbian from last season too.
oh,
I bet once this is over,
Yeah.
they'll hang out on TikTok.
You gotta.
Because I mean,
us.
they're all gay, right? They're at least half.
half.
Y'all, you don't dress like that and not like girls a little bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there were definitely some vibes. So
Yeah.
I'm picking them up.
Yeah. Yeah, so toward the end of the last episode, we're waiting on that final vote. It's down to like one of them not having the majority of not knowing who the Spice Girls are. So, of course, they cut it off then to make us go crazy and want to watch more. And
I can't wait.
It's a good ending.
The narrator, or what's the host's name again?
I always forget her name.
Michelle.
I can pick out her voice anywhere.
Yeah, Michelle something. Buteau?
She,
B?
Or Big Brother fans, I'll say that one of the best parts of Big Brother is the narrator. They're just funny and witty, like it keeps it moving along. And I would say The Circle is very like that. And at one point when they're struggling, the Spice Girls, to come up with what to say, compromising between, she said, "Come on, ladies, you two co-wrote to become one."
Yeah.
So that was mine. That was the quote that I wrote down. I was like, that is like, yes. So I'm excited.
Yeah, she's perfect at it. She's really the perfect host. Like I love her. And she's in Crush, Jessica.
I know. I'll get there.
Yeah, it's great.
So I will have to leave exactly at 7.
Okay.
So I was wondering if I could get my book recommendations.
Please, let's go for it.
Okay. I did forget we were doing this. I did do right for the show. I'll say for Alyssa, the sex therapist, I went through a few different things, but I thought of Sunstone. I think that's a very like not only sex positive, but also relationship positive book. She would have a lot to talk about there.
Mm-hmm.
For you, Ling, I thought Gwenpool.
That's
because
a good
honestly,
pick.
very quirky, fourth wall breaking, very silly. I think it fits her vibe.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. It's a fun one.
For Krissa, the basketball player, I was thinking A Map to the Sun from First Second because that has gay people and basketball.
That went through my head too, but I picked
A Map to the Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For Rachel, it is a tie between Kim Reaper and Sheets. Both of them are very cute.
Sheets crossed my mind too.
Paranormal related. Yeah. I think it would work. Brew is hard. I did go to his Instagram.
You did homework.
It was on this article I had up.
Okay.
Accidental homework.
It looks like he went to a Spider-Man movie premiere, and so I wrote some generic Spider-Man book because I do not know what he does or likes.
Yeah.
For Frank's difficult for me, so I wrote Juliet Takes a Breath because I thought it's
that's
very
a
colorful.
Fun one.
That went through my head too, but I picked something else. But that's a great one. Yeah.
For Parker, I wrote the Bible.
Is that a graphic novel?
There's graphic novels of the Bible. There's a manga one.
The Action Bible.
There's a manga Bible. I didn't know that.
Oh, fun.
Because she needs something.
Mm-hmm.
And Maddie's like, Jesus.
Jesus. For Alex, aka Nathan, he seems again. I get this pretentious vibe. I bet he loves The Watchmen. You know?
Oh, interesting. Okay,
because I always run into these guys who are like, I'm nerdy, which I saw his Instagram. He has a picture of Catan like 20 posts down. And you tell me you're a nerd. Get out of here. I'm the pretentious one now. But that guy, I feel like that guy would hit on me in a coffee shop and be like, "Oh, I love graphic novels. Have you read The Watchmen?" Which has happened to me, and I'm like, "Okay, all right, dude."
That makes sense. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
For sure.
For John Franklin, I was thinking he's just like more of a man's man kind of guy who's Carroll. I think he would either be into like Conan or like some normal Batman run.
Okay.
And for Emma and Mel B, I put Peter and Ernesto because they need to do some research on children's books.
That's a great one. I love that. That's good.
So that's my list.
Okay. Well, shall I go? Do
Yeah.
you mind, Jessica? Okay.
No.
Frank, I chose Breaking Glass, the Harley Quinn book.
You know,
That's
that
so
also
fun.
ran through my mind because of the matriarch.
Yeah, there's like a whole drag queen situation, and there's a lot of like fun stuff going on. I thought of him. I actually split apart everybody in their personalities. So I have something for Carroll. I have something for John. Yeah, look at you.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
Thank you. So for Carroll, I chose El Defo. And the reason I chose this is because I was like, I need something that a mom would read. And literally, Reed's mother gifted me El Defo, like the hardcover edition, and she read it before she gave it to me. I don't think she's ever read a comic. So I was like, oh, that's a mom book, I guess. So that's literally the only reason. Then for John, because of the Mama Bear situation in my head, although now I feel like it's a little rectified because of Jessica's good analysis. I chose Family Tree because which is still, you know what, it still makes sense with him though. So Family Tree, it's by Jeff Lemire. It's an image book. There's like 3 volumes. There's a great strong mom in it, and she's like badass, and you love her.
Yeah.
And it started out so good, and it ended so bad, that whole story. And I feel like his game started out really good, and it's going downhill. So that's why
That's so good, Kristen.
I love this.
Thank you. For Krissa, I chose the Avant-Gardes because it's gay basketball players, and it's also
that was my first for her. I changed it up, but that was a good one. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. For Brew, I'm actually taking. I couldn't think of anything, and Reed came up with one, so I have an exact quote from Reed. This is credit to Reed. He said, "Upgrade Soul because that boy needs to be broken. He's too smiley."
That's really good.
Upgrade Soul appears on my list, and you'll never guess where.
Man, I just had an idea. I think Bill and Ted would work well for Brew.
Yeah, that's good.
Radio guys like Bill and Ted. Anyways, continue.
That's good. Okay, so Nathan, I chose any generic Superman comic because I feel like that kid, he'd be like, yeah, comics, Superman. You know, just...
Wait, who's Nathan?
That's Alex plays Nathan, yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, the fake character Nathan. I'm recommending a book to you. And then Alex, I was like, you know, if he really does like fantasy, he's got to love Wind. If he really does.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
So he should read it. That's because everybody should. So that's what I went with there. So Jared, who's the fake character the Spice Girls behind, I chose Bone because that is also a good younger graphic novel that he needs to know about if he's going to be a children's author. And I chose Giant Days for the Spice Girls because, you know, they're like best friends just like them, and it's so fun and great big personalities. So, and I love Giant Days. Rachel, I chose Mooncakes and Snapdragon because I couldn't pick, and they both felt like her because there's like witchy stuff throughout the whole thing, and it's like spooky, and they're lovely, and you know, and a little gay like she is. We're just
she obviously is.
We hope you, Link.
Yeah, you know. So Alyssa apparently likes scary movies, right? Does she? I don't know. Does she? We haven't really seen some of that personality that's in her profile, right? But it says in her profile she likes scary movies. So I was like, well, you got to read Harrow County, but also probably Sex Criminals because of her.
That one, yeah.
So then Ling, I actually chose Sheets for that because she freaked out about the ghost thing. She's like, I gotta talk to you about ghosts whenever Rachel came in. So I was like, well, there you go. Sheets. Also, Sheets. Yeah, I think she would like it. And finally, for Paul and Parker, I chose the same thing because, like, well, we don't really know who Paul is, right? So it's really just Paul Parker, Paul. And I was just thinking, I was like, what do I give her? She needs an education on how guys that age actually act and can be. So I chose A Man and His Cat because that is a depiction of an older man like that who's awesome and doesn't say weird things like she's having her dad say. She needs an education, and that's what I chose. So
perfect.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
Mooncakes is also on my list, so it's weird that but not for that person.
Tell me your list.
Oh.
Yes. So for Frank, I went with the much maligned Nubia because it takes place out of school, and I think he could use it in his social work. Also, there's a lot of body positivity in that book. That is his jam.
Fantastic.
So I think that'd be a good one. For Yuling, I chose Mooncakes because she loves baking. It's got like Chinese history, which was important to her, and the combination of the two. And yes, she likes ghosts, so I assume that she also likes kind of witchy things and like the paranormal. So I chose Mooncakes for her. John Carroll, this was very hard. I was between two that I don't think either of them would be great. But I was thinking, what's one about a mother? And I came up with Spider-Woman, like the Hopeless run. That's a mother. And I think he would like superheroes because he seems like, he probably goes to every Marvel movie, just like culturally. But then I also thought Lady Killers would be super fun for the Carroll persona, especially because they tried to he was like trying to make her more edgy towards the end.
Yeah.
So, I just thought that would be
good.
I think he would think that was a fun read. For Alyssa, I was kind of thinking Sunstone, and then Maddie, we messaged earlier about Money Shot, and I'm going to pick that because it's a super fun book, and she loves a vibrator. And I just think there's vibrators all over that cover. That seems like her jam.
It's all about sex exploration.
Yes.
She'd love it.
Now for Krissa, I did think avant-garde. That was my pick all day, and then I remembered she doesn't know what a memoir is. So what should she read? Dragon Hoops. It is both.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! It's perfect.
She could learn about it. She'd be engaged. This is perfect for her. Brew was really hard, and I thought, what's the most basic comic book character boy? Who is the Midwestern comic book character boy? And that's Archie. Brew would love Archie and the gang.
That's so good. Yeah.
I think he would enjoy it quite a bit. For Parker, Peter Parker, I chose Upgrade Soul. I would love Peter Parker's interpretation.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
There would have to be a lot of alcohol involved.
She would be like, she'd be pissed and bored, and she'd be like, why are they so ugly?
She wouldn't understand any of it. Oh my gosh, you're right. That's the perfect pick.
That is the point.
Oh my gosh.
I would pay money for her to read really complicated books and then for her to be bimbo about it the whole time.
Yes.
She needs to embrace that because how great would that would be the best channel on YouTube. That would be amazing.
I'm sure her assets would get views just all on their own.
Oh my god.
As they should. Let's see. For Rachel, I did think about Sheets. I also thought about Justice League Dark, which I think would fit her like paranormal. But ultimately her vibe is very Spell on Wheels, like Southern kind of witchy. So I thought that would be a good one for her. For Alex, it could be any of these, but I figured he's like super into either Critical Role or the Adventure Zone. So I would just probably give him one of those. And then the honor of a lifetime, what to recommend the Spice Girls. Now, me personally, my favorite movie double feature amongst a few is Spice World and Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh, perfect.
And Marguerite Bennett's Josie and the Pussycats, so fun.
So good.
Yes.
And similar vibes. So I think this is the honor of a lifetime to recommend a graphic novel series. That's going to be it for them.
Beautiful. Well done.
Yeah, very good.
Man, we should do this more often. Just pick a show. It could be like reality or not reality. We should recommend comic books for them.
I love that.
Let's look at the cast of Friends. What book would we recommend?
Yes.
I think that'd be fun. I like that.
Let's do it.
That's so cool.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this with me, guys.
It was so much fun. I had a great time.
Jessica's so good at analysis. Oh, I'm just like
whatever.
You
should hear me talk about Big Brother. It's like I'm speaking a whole other language.
I love it so much. Well, if you guys feel like doing it next week, we'll be watching. So yeah. Okay, we'll be back. Thank you everybody for joining us, especially the people who have no idea what we're talking about. We appreciate it.
And if you're Rachel and you're watching this later, are you Link? Do you want to be our friend?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm sure you're not going to watch, but if you do,
But if you did,
oh my gosh, what a come on
You're
the
your
show.
friend.
Come on the show. You could
Just hang
recommend
out.
books to people.
and if you're
They
the
know what a
Spice
memoir is.
Girls, no, just kidding.
Oh my!
I
can't
couldn't handle
even
that. Don't do
imagine.
that.
Oh yeah, we would lose our
Oh,
minds.
If you're the Spice Girls, don't let me know.
Please just be Jared.
Just be Jared. Well, the whole time we were watching it, we'll finish after. Whitney and I were like, we're kind of falling for Jared. I know he's not real, but I'm kind of into Jared.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's fair.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it again.
All right, we'll do it again next week. Okay, bye.